prisonplanet.com today. A member of the Dutch Parliament is asking the finance minister, the prime minister, and others, and the Queen, if they're attending Bilderberg and trying to ram through EU expansion in the Lisbon Treaty. Were you aware of this breaking development?
Not about the Queen and whoever, but I know that was on the agenda today, and there is much discussion about getting the Irish to sign on to the Lisbon Treaty, because if all EU countries have to endorse, or it could not happen. And the Irish voted down before. They're going to try to make them vote again and torture them and pressure them into voting, reversing themselves. And the Irish did not want to surrender that much sovereignty. Of course, all those countries have surrendered significant sovereignty. I mean, the European Parliament can make laws and impose them on member states. The European Court can make rulings and overturn laws of member states, and they have. Yet they want to make it stronger. And the Irish said no in the first referendum. In fact, polls in Germany and France showed that the people strongly opposed the Lisbon Treaty. But in Germany and France, the head of state can sign off on it whether they like it or not. Ireland requires a referendum. The first time it failed. They plan a meeting in June, about June 18, 19, something like that, to try to pressure the Irish voters into reversing themselves. Bilderberg plans to send a group up there privately to talk privately to the leaders of Ireland, to pressure them to tell their citizens it's good for you. You'll eat better. You'll live longer.
Okay,
so
Jim.
We'll have to see how that plays out.
Jim, and the limited time is I have quite a few other questions. Just in the short notes, what else is on their agenda from your sources inside Bilderberg?
Well, I think they had mentioned this yesterday, but President Obama is being pressured. Well, he's willingly accepted the job of trying to slip through ratification of the International Criminal Court treaty. Now, when Bilderberg Clinton first signed off on it, a test vote in Congress showed that more than 90 senators voting against it, so he did not submit it for ratification. When Little Bush was elected, he withdrew the signature. When Obama was elected, he put the signature back on so it could go before the Senate any time. But their tactics are this. Obama is the sweet talk with the many left-wing Democrats in Congress who would really want to vote for the International Criminal Court treaty. They really want to. They're just scared because patriots, maybe you had something to do with this, maybe I did too, were so strongly opposed to surrendering sovereignty that they were afraid to vote for it, political cowards. So Obama's going to sweet talk it and say, don't worry, we'll have more left-wing Congress, or he'll probably say more liberal Senate after the 2010 election. So in January of 2011, when the new Senate is seated, you can ratify it late on a Saturday night. It's too late for Sunday morning papers, too late to replan the Sunday talk shows, and won't even make the Monday papers. It'll happen. Nobody will know. You'll suffer no political reprisals, and we can be a member of the International Criminal Court.
And for those that don't know, Jim, for those that don't know, this will put Americans under the jurisdiction of foreign hate speech laws, being arrested for criticizing open borders. Michael Savage can't come to Europe, banning internet freedom, all of that. Now, what about Daniel Esterlin, who's proven to be very accurate with his sources? He says he has 2 Bilderberg Group members, the sources, and their age. He has been reporting that from his sources that on their agenda is, do they want to plunge the economy quickly to get people to accept the New World Order now and, quote, a loss of sovereignty, and they call a loss of standard of living, a streamlining of the economy, or do they want to have a long, drawn-out depression? Is that being discussed? Like you said last year?
Yes, it is, and the mood seems to be, according to our Treasury Secretary Gessner and Bilt, toward a shorter recession, not a 10-year recession. Now, Danny and I have collaborated for many years. He's not here this year for the 3rd straight year. I don't know why. couldn't communicate with him, but he's always been reliable, and we've collaborated over the years. But the tilt is toward a shorter recession, partly because a 10-year recession would damage Bilderberg industrialists themselves. As much as they want to have a department of global department of labor and the global department of treasury and everything, they still like making money. And such a prolonged recession would cost them big bucks industrially because nobody's buying their toys. Now, they're not all industrialists. Some of them just born to great wealth and watch it pile up. And some are high officials of the government and so forth. But tilt is toward keeping it short but using it to, within 2 years, you can make people miserable enough to accept anything. Seems to be the view.
Okay, to be clear, Jim, you're confirming that they, as you said 3 years ago and 2 years ago and last year, you said they were going to cut oil prices in half when it was at $149 a barrel and suddenly it plunged because they really are running things. This isn't predictions. This is what the elite are saying. Are you saying that, yes, indeed, they've engineered the crisis to terrorize people into accepting the new bank of the world, the new world currency?
Either they engineered it or they're surely celebrating it. They are exploiting it to promote the, well, as you said, also the new world currency. But they've been so far behind their schedule on that. In fact, the Patriots have been winning, as I've said so many times. Bilderberg was confident of having an American Union by the year 2000, and that was 9 years ago. And we don't have an Amerio yet. They were first wanting to just dollarize the Western Hemisphere, but now they're waiting to be in the Amerio.
Oh, so they do want to go with the Amero. Jim, in the limited time we have left, just a few final questions. You said record security, that they shut down the entire Palace area and 3 hotels in the resort. You said you've never seen this level of security. Why? Do you have any inside info on why they're acting so afraid?
Well, they're paranoid. Every year, as a secret site, they try to make it. They get widespread publicity. In fact, Charlie Shelton's going to have a piece, I think, Monday in the print edition of his paper, The Guardian. There's a lot of freelance reporters here, others associated with various broadcast networks and newspapers, and there's seems to be just about as many journalists as there was before. It's hard to get the for demonstrations with cars being stopped and people bullied or fully 2.5 miles away from the scene of the gate. So while there's less dramatic protests like you saw at Chantilly last year, they're here, and the journalists are here.
Wait a minute, Jim. I was saying police were coming up and arresting people 100 yards away. You're saying 2.5 miles away, because I keep seeing videos where it's like seashore and trees and no buildings around and highways. Are there just, from what I've been told, there's police just everywhere arresting people all over the, I mean, this is total police state. I mean, the media should be all over this with their reporters being arrested. Oh,
and they surely are taking the guy's camera and pulling out the film, or forcing them to erase it. They have one of those gizmo cameras where they can simply erase it. They're doing that. They did Charlie Shelton 3 times. He's a glutton for punishment. And there's been a large number of guys who've told of those experiences. Okay, Jim,
Jim Tucker, in closing, when are you getting back to the United States so we can get a full 30-minute report here on air from you? When are we going to see the big print edition in American Free Press with all the details?
That will be in the one that goes to press next Thursday. The next one you get, if you have, let's see, this is Friday. The one mailed out today, or Thursday night, last night, we'll have the story filed prior to the meeting itself.
Okay, what has security done to you? Because you always do the ritual of trying to walk into the gate. Have you not done that this time?
Oh, well, I did, but they didn't say a word to me. They just turned made the cab driver turn around, and I was speaking to them, but they just gave me that funny look. As you know, they know me for years from the photographs they've taken, and so he knew who I was. Well, several cops knew who I was, but they told the driver that the cab driver he had to go away. And so, well, the way the gate was locked, he couldn't even crash through if he wanted to.
Jim, do you think they were angry from last year when we were only 50 yards away, bullhorning them with you there?
Well, they're angry from every year.
Yeah.
Every year they're angry that they've been discovered. They're angry that there's protesters. They're angry that there's reporters. But I'm hopeful that they'll cough up the list because of major newspapers are now covering the story. There's a heavy story in the Times of London today, and there's going to be more tomorrow. So I'm hoping they're coughing up. But
in closing, Jim. Sure. In closing, Jim, to interrupt you because we were almost out of time in 30 seconds. They seem to be very grim-faced, you said in your article in American Free Press. Are they upset? Are things going well for them?
No, things are going bad for them. Americans are responding. The Europeans are responding.